Hey everybody, wanted to let you know I'm headed back on tour. I'm back at the La Jolla Comedy Store Friday, September 20th and Saturday, September 21st. Salt Lake City, September 27th at the State Room, and Denver, Colorado, Saturday, September 28th at the Oriental Theater. Get your tickets for those shows and all shows on my website now at ryansickler.com.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I am Ryan Sickler, ryansickler.com, and Ryan Sickler on all your social media. I'm going to start this episode like I start all of them by genuinely saying thank you. Thank you for whatever you do to support anything I do, especially this show. I love doing this. And if this is a show you love and you got to have more, then you got to check out the Patreon. All right, right now we're over, I think it's like 8,000 subscribers, but only 5,300 of them pay. I want to get that number up, okay? We want to get that number up. And I'm telling you, it's this show. It's the HoneyDew with y'all, and y'all have the wildest stories. Watch, if you want to see what it's like, go watch the best of episodes that we do, and we release for free here on the YouTube. I do them with Josh Wolf, and we just highlight some of the craziest stories that you guys share. It's $5 a month. It's nothing. It's a cup of coffee for hundreds of stories, of your stories. It's your show. So if any of you have a story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Come see me on tour. All of my dates are on the website. Everything's at ryansickler.com. If I'm in your town when you're around, please come out and check me out. And that's it. You guys know what we do here. We highlight the lowlights. And I always say that these are the stories behind the storytellers. And I am very excited to have this guest on here. First time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kathy Griffin. Welcome to the HoneyDew, Kathy Griffin. And Mary. And Mary.
My service dog, Mary.
Mary, too. Welcome. Thank you for doing this for real.
It's a pleasure, especially since you met me and helped me use the meter, because I don't know if your fans know, I'm too famous to know how to use the meter with that modern credit card thing. In my day, it was a quarter, and then you walked away safe and sound.
Yeah, you did. You did. And also, you came under stress. Your dog threw up in the console.
Vomited all over the cup holders.
Yeah, it's in there.
Very not at all trained service dog that it does have the certificate, but is
and the vest.
And the vomit. She comes with love and vomit.
Well, before we get into whatever we're going to talk about today, will you please promote everything and anything you would like?
Yes, please come see me on the Kathy Griffin My Life on the PTSD List tour. I'm 43 cities in, and I have about 30 left. And one of them is in Los Angeles at the Wiltern, and one of them is in a little place called Carnegie Hall.
Damn, are you really doing Carnegie Hall?
I'm doing Carnegie.
Is that your
for
first
the
time?
Sixth time.
I'm sorry,
in fact,
my ignorance.
I will have broken the record for the most times a single female comic has done Carnegie. And I broke the record that I shared with my dear friend, the one and only Joan Rivers.
Oh. I did a tiny bit of work for Joan Rivers, and I'll forever be...
Was she not the sweetest?
Let me tell you something, Kathy Griffin.
The sweetest?
She was doing her... Yes, to answer your question right away, she was. And she was doing her show with her daughter at the time.
Yeah.
Might have been on E, I think. And a guy I knew was producing on it, and he said, hey, they're looking for writers. Just come. Just stand off to the side, listen to Joan,
Get
and,
the vibe,
and see
get
if
the
you even
rhythm.
think... And, you know, I'm a comedian. I was over there in my little phone and my notepad, just bam, bam, bam.
One after another.
And I had a feeling. And she walked over to me and she said, what do you got? And guess what? I was ready.
Oh.
And I said, this is what I got. Bam, bam, bam. And she's like, I love it. And she hired me to write for just like 3-4 episodes, just like punch up stuff or throw it at. And then I was like, use it wherever you want. I would see it on Twitter, things like that. And then the best part of the whole job is that she signed her check to me. I still have a photocopy of it, but it came from her personal account. Joan Rosenberg.
Joan Rosenberg, baby. She knew how to do it.
That's the best fucking thing it's one of my favorite things I have from entertainment is a check from Joan Rosenberg.
I feel like I was raised because I was lucky enough to be friends with Joan Rivers and the great Don Rickles.
Oh.
And I hate when people say they were mean or whatever their gripe is. You couldn't have found two nicer people. And they were so generous with little old me and my D-list life. I mean, Joan was on my life on the D-list. list. Rickles was on my Life on the D list, and which is, by the way, please watch it on Peacock, even though I don't get another penny, but I do want people to rediscover the show. My mom and dad were on there, and they were such naturals. There was nothing scripted on the show. It was real. It was a real reality show. But come see me live where the fur really flies.
Well, I want to talk to you because I always ask our guests, whoever they are, even if I know them, just send some things you want to talk about. And your list, I mean, it's quite a list.
It's a laundry list.
I mean, I love talking this show made me fall in love with comedians all over again because I don't want to hear about your worst show or, neither do they. They don't want to hear about that bullshit. They want to know like what's really going on with Kathy Griffin and who's sitting in that chair. And I mean, this list is, can we start with lung cancer? I mean, it's where would
Let's
you
start
like
with
to
the
go?
Trump thing. Let's just cut the crap and start with the Trump thing.
That's fine.
So first of all, I call the show My Life on the PTSD List because even though I actually feel guilty about saying it, I have been diagnosed with complex PTSD.
Why do you feel guilty about saying that?
Because I performed in Iraq and Afghanistan under mortar fire for our troops. And so I feel like that's something combat veterans kind of own.
I get that.
And yet you want to hear something? I'll have haters come at me for calling the show that. But I can't tell you how many military folks have reached out and said, no. You can have complex PTSD too. Like, we get it. And that means the world to me. Because I don't want people to think it's like a gimmick. Trust me, I'm a wreck. And so I opened the show with just the Trump stuff. And when I took the picture and the photographer who got no blowback at all, sold it to TMZ of all places, where Harvey Levin is a gay Trumper. Which I can't figure out how that works for him, but okay. And so that photo was sent to China and North Korea and Russia. And then I was a member of ISIS. And then Trump was tweeting against me. And then CNN fired me from my New Year's Eve gig. But everybody had to make a statement, and everybody turned on me left, right, and center. And then, I was in the middle of a 50-city tour, 25 cities in. That picture went live, and my entire tour was canceled within 72 hours because of death threats to me. Now, can I swear on this show?
Yes.
So almost all the threats to me at that time, still, but at that time were, I don't know how to say this, but Trumpers love cunt. Hear me out. It was a lot of if that is at that theater, I'm going to cut her out, throw that in her face, and then step on her and shoot her in the Miss from Phil from town. And then you look at the profile and it goes, friend of the Lord. Proud homeschool. Psalms. Exactly.
Love and light.
Love and positivity. But I'm going to shoot you in the. So I don't even blame these theaters because they're used to Stomp and Blue Man Group. And then all of a sudden they got people that want to shoot me in the. And so I don't blame the theaters, but to not work, you know what it is, to not do this for 6.5 years.
I mean, the pandemic portion of this was maddening. I couldn't imagine 5 times that.
I mean, having the federal government, people don't know.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, I was investigated by 2 agencies within the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Secret Service.
Investigated how? What
they were very seriously considering charging me with conspiracy to assassinate the President of the United States, which holds a life sentence.
This is definitely not getting monetized.
No, not one bit. Not one bit. But
so wait, they took the photo of that?
I was the only one, out of all the people that Trump got mad at, I was the only one that was singled out. So they took the photo and they decided that was a threat against Trump personally. So it came directly. I filed a FOIA, which is a Freedom of Information Act. So I found out how serious they were about trying to charge me. They would call my lawyers. My lawyer bill for this whole trick alone was probably about $1 million, trying to stay out of jail because they were calling my lawyers every day, the Department of Justice. They wanted video from a chopper above of me doing a perp walk into the federal building in Westwood, California. And my lawyers, who are very good First Amendment, very expensive, but very good First Amendment attorneys. First of all, I cleared the photo with them before I posted it. So I've been doing stand-up and being outrageous for decades. So I'm not so dumb that I would just post it. I called all my lawyers first. I said, I got this picture of Trump. It's kind of a protest / joke, whatever you want, but it's out there. It's really out there. And it's a Halloween mask of him, and there's ketchup all over it. And I have this stoic look on my face. And I sent it to every one of them. They said it's absolutely covered by the First Amendment. So people think that sometimes the First Amendment violates you if a company fires you. So like, I didn't like that CNN fired me, but that wasn't a violation of my First Amendment. Having the Department of Justice put me on the no-fly list, the Interpol list,
Wait, what is,
the
I don't
terror
even know what
watch
the Interpol
list.
list is.
That's
what is that
internationally. They stopped me because I knew I couldn't.
Traveling all together?
Oh, yeah. So I was stopped at every airport, starting at LAX, going to Sydney, because I knew I couldn't tour here. At first, there was too much heat on me. So overseas, I was very welcomed. I mean, I never actually toured like that in my life, frankly. I played Singapore, where I was in the airport jail for 4 hours.
Nah.
Yeah. So what
So when
happens
you
when you're
land,
on the
they
terror
took you?
list, they take your phone, they take your passport, and they just go away for an indeterminate amount of time. And you don't know if it's going to be 5 minutes or 5 hours. But let me tell you, being in airport jail in Singapore, where it's illegal to be gay, and many of my audience members are gay, it's scary. And to be stopped at LAX and then...
Are you traveling with Mary or any one of your
not
other dogs?
I did not. I couldn't do the quarantine overseas, but I did actually bring 2 of my dogs to the whole Canadian part of the tour, and I brought them to every leg of the American part.
Okay.
So I was able to finally tour about this issue in
Well, hold on.
2018.
I'm sorry. You land in Singapore. They detain you.
Yeah, I'm on the terror watch list.
They put you in a cell?
Yeah.
Like a room? Or
Yeah. No, it has bars.
And are you by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they separated me from my tour manager. I have no phone.
Oh, he or she's going. He's going over there.
They get to be in the airport, but they took his passport and phone as well. So, city after city after city, that stress.
But you
of
also
not
got to start
knowing-
building that into your fucking schedule.
100%. I mean, getting to the airport 2 hours early, I wish. I was getting to the airport a half a day early just to make the show. And trying to explain to the Singaporean authorities, like, I have a show with a bunch of maybe not at all gay people that are waiting for me.
Yeah.
And they've paid good money for those tickets. And my show's at 8:00. And if there's any way I could make that show, sir, like... I got stopped at London Heathrow. I mean, every single airport. So I'm finally off that list because I'm touring now.
Maybe you can't answer this question.
What?
Did any of the people be like, look, we know who you are. We'll take a picture with you or anything? Or were they always
Oh,
fucking
no.
straight
Half
up?
of them wanted selfies.
I knew it.
Half of them wanted
I fucking knew
selfies
it.
because they all know me. They
That's
all
what
know
I'm
me.
saying.
Now,
I knew it,
sometimes
yeah.
they thought I was Reba, which is fine. Everybody loves
Ain't nothing wrong with
Reba.
Reba.
Everybody loves Reba. So I am more than happy. You don't know how many autographs I have signed. Love Reba. And I used to get indignant, like, excuse me, I'm Kathy Griffin. Now I just go, love y'all, blessings, Reba.
Oh, it's too good. Yeah.
Reba is beloved. So
Reba,
if people want
no
to think
doubt.
I'm Reba, that is fine with me. And I apologize to you, Reba, if you're
Too
listening.
good.
But I had to. So that happened. Then after that, I get addicted to prescription pills. Who the hell becomes a junkie at 57?
Why?
I'm
How?
50. You know why? You know what it's like. My whole life is touring. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. I love doing stand-up specials. And to have that taken away overnight and have everybody issue statements, all these companies I've made and generated millions of dollars for, she's never welcome here again, blah, blah, blah. CNN, I read it on the ticker. Nobody called me and even gave me a heads up.
No.
It was
Wait.
gnarly. And then I started getting
Griffin, you found out you were
on the
fired from
ticker.
CNN by the ticker?
On the
No,
ticker.
that's ice cold.
on the ticker. And when
That's a wild thing to fucking
I
see.
know. It was wild. And then to watch like other shows that were talking about me, like other news, of course, Fox went crazy, but like even MSNBC would have like a tri-split of 3 different experts talking about, is she a terrorist or not? I had Senator Al Franken call me, how could you do this? I can't be seen with you. I had fundraisers for Al at my home.
I love Al Franken.
I love him. You know who the only one who stuck by me?
I wanted to ask.
Booker.
Really?
Cory Booker still checks in.
All right.
About once a year. How's my girl?
Okay.
And that meant the world. Because here's the thing. You can hate that picture. I get it. I get why you would hate that picture, and that's totally fine. But you do need to know the fallout from it is not something you would want.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, you know what, she should have been fired from CNN. That's kind of debatable. But to be put on the terror watch list and to not be able to work because, yeah, I could have sort of driven to gigs, but my goodness, I live in California. Last Saturday night, I had 2 shows in P-Town in outer Massachusetts, out on the Cape. So, like, to be on the no-fly list, you kind of can't work. And so I had
also, you said what was the other, the federal watch list?
Yeah, the terror watch list, the Interpol list, and then there's one called the Five Eyes. And so I was on the Five Eyes list as well.
That one?
The Five Eyes list is where you're most likely to find terrorists. And so if you're on the Five Eyes list, it's even worse than Interpol because it's specific to ISIS.
Are you on the list with hijackers and shit from?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's like this person, Kathy Griffin.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Isn't it?
Are you at the post office? If you walk into the post office, Kathy Griffin will know.
I should. Although one year
I live
for
right near one. I'm
Halloween,
gonna go
I did
look.
my own mugshot.
Yeah.
And I actually never had to do the perp walk. Like I said, it was a lot of negotiating, but I was interrogated under oath. And my lawyer said, if you screw up this interrogation, you're going to jail.
Whoa.
And during the interrogation, my lawyer was allowed to sit next to me, but he was not allowed to speak to me or intervene or help in any way.
He couldn't nudge you under the table?
No, but let me tell you what made them nervous. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to blurt it out. I have a sword. Hear me out. Hear me out. I know okay. So I work with the LGBT community a lot. I am the recipient of the gay swordsman, or in my case, swordswoman, which may or may not be a gay porn company. And I may be as proud of that as my Emmys. But me explaining to the feds, they're like, ma'am, do you have any firearms? And I said, no, I don't. Oh, I do have a sword. And then my lawyer kicked me. Yeah. He's like, okay, there's a picture of you holding Trump's head, and now you're telling the feds you have a sword.
About that part.
So I get nervous, and I'm like, oh, but it's from the Gay Swordsman, which is a porn company, which gave me an award, which felt really nice because that was a nice night. And it's funny because the movie that won that night for the Gay Swordsman Award was called Justice, and it was a gay porn about justice and interrogations that were not as professional as this one, sir. This one is very professional. I have my clothes on. No one's having sex. And my lawyer is just kicking me like, stop talking about gay porn. Yeah. Stop it. So then he had to make a whole statement saying he has witnessed my gay sword. It is harmless.
Is it encased?
It is, of course.
Okay.
It's, you know, the gays.
Just on the wall.
You know the gays.
I figured it was in a pretty box.
Are you kidding? It's in a flag box, please. And so the interrogation, even in spite of that, went well. And I was finally taken off those lists.
How long?
I was on them for 2 months.
And then you're off those.
And then I was off, yeah. And then I think I became addicted to prescription pills because I went from working my butt off, happily so, to just nothing. The phone wasn't ringing. I'm untouchable. I'm toxic. And I didn't know what to do with myself.
This is what Joan talked about in her documentary.
So, yes, which is A Piece of Work is the name of it. It's a great doc. And when she opened her day planner to white pages being empty, 6.5 years of not working. So then I tried to take my life. I know that's out there. I was on a 3-day 5150 psych hold, which basically had me walking into my own act because I've made fun of people for being on psych holds like Kanye.
What did you do?
I looked at the ceiling and wanted to get out.
From the pills? Were you overdoing?
From the pills, I was overdoing them. And that was the pills talking. I never would have done it without the pills. Then I got sober. So as of June 25th, I'm 4 years sober.
All right, congrats.
It's not been easy, but it's been worth it.
All right, let me ask you this: What moment do you hit where you finally go, I gotta fucking get off this shit?
When I tried to take my life.
That was when you turned it all around.
All that happened was I took a bunch of pills and I thought I would just gently go to sleep and go. And instead, I fell down 2 flights of stairs in my own house. I'm laughing laughing because if you could have seen this house, it was in Bel Air, California. It was next door to Kim and Kanye. My hand to God, my next door neighbors were Kim and Kanye at the height of their Kim and Kanye-ness. So there were already like helicopters over the house for them. And I'm thinking, oh, little do they know, the comedian that's been calling Kim, God love her, a dirty whore for decades, and we're friends, but she does let me call her a dirty whore. And then Kanye with his, this is really inappropriate, but I just have to say it. How funny is it that Kanye is a black white supremacist?
It's wild, isn't it?
It is.
It's real
Remember
life
the
Clayton
Chappelle
Bigsby.
sketch?
Yeah, that's him. Clayton
He's the
Bigsby.
Black Klansman in real life.
Jordan Lee Peterson, he is too.
He went to a Trump. This is an African-American man with African-American children who goes to Trump rallies. That shit's funny. I'm sorry. So he does not enjoy my work. I can tell you that.
And you live next to him, too.
Next door, so close, they couldn't make a move without me putting it in my act. I mean, they were basically in hiding from Kathy Griffin for 2 years. But that was fun. She was actually very sweet to me. And I'll be honest, as much as I love to make fun of that family, and I do, when nobody would take me in on Christmas Eve, including my family, I went to their house on Christmas Eve.
That's nice.
Well, my cousins all think I'm an ISIS.
So you have family that turned on you and stayed?
Most.
Really?
Like 95%. Yeah. But also like going out of their way to call me and say, why are you joining ISIS, Kathy? You're my cousin. You shouldn't be in ISIS. And I'm like, oh yeah, take a look at me. I'm a real poster for ISIS. Yeah, I'm on the jungle gym in Syria training for my ISIS assignment.
Kathy Griffin, if you're at the post office, I'm going to shit. I'm taking a picture if you are.
And I hope I'm in hair and makeup. And I hope I have the lashes on. Because, I got to have the lashes. And, in ISIS training, they teach you that. Make sure you wear your fake eyelashes and lots of hair and makeup.
Forget about whether they're Trump supporters or not.
Yeah.
They turned on you.
Everybody. Left, right, and center. My own agents
if my
were
brother did some shit like that, and even if I did support Trump, I would still just be like, I don't know, I think you're fucking, at the most, I'd be like, I think you're pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, because then you don't even think about the backlash coming where you know you're going to get some, but you certainly don't think a no-fly list and all these lists.
I thought it would be on a gay blog. I thought this picture will be on some. I didn't have a publicist at the time. And I took other wacky pictures that day. Like I took one where I was spoofing Kim. So I dressed up as Kim Kardashian and I went it was me peeking into their backyard, which I may have done often. Come on, don't act like you wouldn't. Don't act like you would. If you live next door to Kim and Kanye, you're going to do a little peeking.
I'd be out front just watering my driveway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, they couldn't escape me.
Yeah.
They couldn't escape me. One day I saw Kim with one of the kids, north or south or east or west. I don't know. Can't keep track. And she had a Rolls Royce golf cart and was driving the kid around. And I stopped her and I tried to make a citizen's arrest.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It didn't hold. When you're a terrorist, it's hard to then arrest someone for a golf cart violation, which it turns out wasn't. And she's like, oh my God, I know. I got it from my mom. She's like, so extra. Rolls Royce golf cart. Okay, so get this. A couple months later, I'm doing my little walk around the gated community. I'm like one of those power walking dames. And I see a tow truck and Kanye, and the Rolls Royce golf cart has pooped out. So I'm such a bitch that I stop and I just look at Kanye, who I know hates me. And I go like this. Keep walking. I gave him the end of Hoosiers.
I'm waiting
any
for
football
Kathy Griffin.
movie
He's got to have a song
where
called
the little
Kathy
guy
Griffin.
gets a touchdown and the coach does the slow clap. I gave him the slow clap and he did not enjoy that. And then I walked a little faster. I don't want that kind of heat. And so after I got out of the 5150 for 3 days, then it was sober time. Got a year sober, proud of myself, and then I freaking get lung cancer. And I've never smoked a day in my life.
This is what I want to...
They took out half my left lung.
How'd you know? What was happening in your body where you were like, something's fucked up here?
Okay, first of all, I don't like the way you're flaunting your 2 lungs in my face right now.
You don't even know my story.
No, you are breathing.
I clotted last year and almost died. I'm lucky to be breathing.
Wait, what?
Yeah, see.
What?
I went. Look, it's a long
I
story.
was talking to a clotter.
In detail. Yeah, I went in for back surgery. There was a small tear. They fixed me up again, but then they let me lay still. I lay for a week at Cedars. I clot. And I knew I clot because I had clotted before and almost died. But I'm telling them the whole time, they're like, "Wow, you're really worried about this." And I was like, "Yeah."
Please
and then on
listen
day
to me,
7,
doctor.
I fucking clot. I collapse. I wake up, thank God, and they tell me that
not defibrillator.
Nope. They tell me I have massive pulmonary embolisms. My heart is swollen twice its size.
Out.
And they tell me to call family because I have 48 hours of touch and go. And I was like, what? And it took 8 months for my lungs to clear on their own.
So I'm not the only one at this table with PTSD.
No.
Seriously.
That's why I'm saying with the lung thing, especially, it's something to touch them. But I smoke cannabis, and you say you don't smoke. No. So I want to hear about how someone who doesn't even fucking smoke is getting lung cancer.
I do not know. The surgeon goes, "Do you think you were around radon as a kid?" I go, "I'm 63. I was around everything as a kid." We used to run and follow the DDT truck, and I'm not kidding. There was a pesticide truck. I'm from Oak Park, Illinois. Anyone from Oak Park can verify this. And the mothers, when the truck would come around, would go, "Kids, it's time to run in the cloud." And I am not kidding. All the neighborhood kids would run behind the pesticide truck and go, "I'm dancing in a cloud. I'm dancing in a cloud." Now, my parents did enjoy the drink. I'm not saying my mom wasn't maybe a little tipsy when she was encouraging her children to run into a pesticide truck. But, it was fun. I'm not going to lie. It was a fun feeling, but I don't know how I got it. I don't know.
Everyone in the comedy world knows that not every joke delivers, but Harry's always delivers. They send the best quality razors right to your door for a fraction of the price of the big brands. Better design shaving products at a better price is no joke. It's Harry's. Look, they sent me some stuff. Also, look, you've been hearing about Harry's forever. If you haven't tried them, I'm telling you right now, just give them a try. For real. You got a great razor. It's a great weighted razor, actually. They gave me shaving cream. You get a little travel kit. I take it on the road with me. You've been hearing about them forever. I'm telling you, their German engineer blades are made in their own factory. They stay sharper longer. They have a customizable delivery options for scheduled refills as low as $2. That's half of what you pay for the other big brands. You get a 5-blade razor. I'm telling you, weighted handle, foaming shave gel. It smells great, by the way. And you get a travel cover for $3 at harrys.com/honeydew. Go try this now. I'm telling you, it's a no-risk trial. If you don't like your shave, no worries. It's on them. All right. If you do love it, they have a convenient subscription option that you can cancel at any time. Get the shaving products that always deliver. Get Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/honeydew. That's harrys.com/honeydew for a $3 trial set. Now, let's get back to the do. What started happening in your body?
They took an x-ray of I thought I was having abdominal problems.
Oh, okay.
And then they said, well, we found this spot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that spot's been there since 2009. And they're like, yeah, it just doubled in size. I don't know why. Look, there's woo-woo people that would say probably the trauma of the Trump thing maybe played into it. With cancer, you don't know what really causes it.
That's the thing. I feel like we all have it in our bodies.
Do you feel like there was a mental component to your health stuff?
There's their mental fucking lapse of not taking care of me and listening to the patient telling them. Thank God I was an advocate for myself and I knew my health issues. Because if I hadn't said anything, I am dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Dead as a doornail.
And I'm telling the guy when I'm collapsing, I'm clotting. And he's like, you might be having a heart attack too. That's the last thing I heard. And I was like, what? And I was like, duh.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Even at Cedars, one of the great hospitals.
I say all the time, man.
The best of the best. And yet.
Did Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston die at Cedars?
Kind of.
I'm pretty sure.
Kind of. If you want to really be technical about it. Now, although I did want the Beyonce birthing suite, but I did not get it. And I understand it's the top floor. And I was like on my way out going, but can I have the Beyonce birthing suite?
You know what they told me? And maybe you were there. It was also kind of a backhand too, because I'm laying in this room just on my back, all tubed up. And they're telling me about this floor for the rich who, it's like a very
A-list?
Yeah. you're D, but
I'm D.
A-list.
Wait a minute. So,
And they said it's like a full-on concierge floor. So the people that are there to visit you are having wine and cheese and there's jazz. I was like, what?
how
They're
do
like,
we
that's
get in that
upstairs.
clique?
That's what I said. I didn't even know that was a thing.
You know, we
but
have to buy a wing.
you might have to
We
donate.
might have to buy a wing.
Yeah.
And frankly, based on your Patreon, that doesn't look too good. You guys, it's $5 a month.
Tell 'em,
Sign up for
Kathy.
his Patreon. Are you kidding me? This man is making a living. He's working his butt off. Patreon. Of course they should subscribe and pay.
Okay, so
Okay,
wait.
so then-
So abdominal pain, the
see a
spot
spot.
doubles.
They go, we're going to take out half a lobe. On the left side, you have 2 lobes. On the right, you have 3. They said your lungs will be fine. They expand back, they adapt. But during the surgery, leave it to me with my luck of the Irish. I don't know what the hell this surgeon did. Dr. Rob McKenna. Dr. Robert McKenna. I did not care for his work. That statement is also covered. It's covered under the First Amendment.
Is it?
It is.
You let me know
It
if we
is.
need to cut that out.
It is.
Okay,
You
all
don't.
right,
And
all right.
it is. But anyway, I during the surgery, they paralyzed my left vocal cord. So
Whoa, that's your
I'm
job.
a comic. It's my job. He
Never
said
even
to me,
thought of
I know exactly who you are. I know what your job is. I'm going to be careful. So for 3.5 years, I could only talk
Nuh-uh.
like this. Now, honey, if that didn't cause the emotional spiral, nothing did. And then just to add to the fun, on December 23rd of last year, I had to file for divorce. And I'm heartbroken. And I
I'm
thought I was
sorry.
going to be with this guy forever. So it's just been one thing after another. But thank God I'm back on tour. Thank God people are buying tickets. I'm still considered, wait, what did my agent say? For a special, they're still squeamish about hiring you since the Trump thing. And yet I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records. I've done more televised stand-up specials than any comedian, male or female, living
Wow,
or dead.
I didn't know that.
21. I've done 21 specials. I'm so ready to do another one. Somebody take a chance on me, please. And like I said, to play Carnegie for the 6th time, I don't have an opener. I don't do a lineup. It's just me with
You just
2
walk
hours.
out.
I write every single joke myself. Oh, wait, can I brag about something?
Please.
I've written for one other person, one joke in my entire life. So in 2016, I'm sitting in my PJs watching the Democratic National Convention. Yes, I'm a proud libtard commie, I know. But I get a call from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, it was from his manager / maybe girlfriend, I'm not sure, but she's the one who had my number. And she says, Kareem's going to go out in 20 minutes. Do you have anything? I go, me? I go, it's
Hold
going to
on,
be
I'm
inappropriate.
sorry. You're
but
sitting home
in my PJs.
and he's there live about to walk out and
Yep.
they're hitting you up like, yo, we're
like,
about
it just occurs to them, like, maybe he should open with something funny instead of just, and by the way, I don't know if you're a sports guy.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere. Kareem doesn't sign autographs.
Mhm.
He is famously moody. He is one of the greats. I absolutely am in love with this man. And I, just like you, I start just sending jokes one after another, boom, boom, boom. And I'm thinking, oh, he'll never say this. This is too controversial. He'll never say this. And he walks out on stage and
And
he
you're
says,
seeing this live now.
live
After you just
in my
said, this is
pajamas
fucking
by
crazy.
myself.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Oh,
even
yeah.
home.
Oh, yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar walks out and he says, hello, my name is Michael Jordan and I'm with her. Well, it's not like Trump will know the difference. So that was my joke. It got carried internationally. Kareem said people were running up to him saying, who wrote that joke? And he was like, Kathy Griffin.
All right.
So I get a call from ESPN to confirm it. And I said, okay, now you owe me dinner. So he took me out to dinner. He gave me a basketball sign. So there's the one other person I've written for in my
Oh, yeah.
entire life.
That's great.
I know.
That's a great story.
That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar delivering a Kathy Griffin joke at the freaking convention where I would never be welcome. Like, I'm way too controversial for anybody's convention, but I can still write a joke for Kareem.
So can I go back to losing half your lung here?
Half my lung, I'm 1.5 down.
So
I'm half down. I'm
does
1.5
that
left.
affect flying or anything like that for you? Or
It doesn't. Now,
No.
I'm a huge workout person. So I do a 2-hour walk every day. I do Pilates twice a week. And what's odd is if you look at an x-ray, you can't tell. So the lobe that I have left expanded. And so But I'm always afraid. And I wanted to ask you, like, once you've had this, like I always think now I'm going to get cancer in a different body part. I can't get that thought out of my head. Do you fear like, oh no, I could get this sick and clot again?
Yeah. But not any.
In what like situations would you be scared?
If I'm on bed rest, if I'm late, like here's the other thing. My she's about to be 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's a genetic disease I have. So I have what's called factor V Leiden, and I'm prone to clotting.
Did your parents have it?
So this is all found out over.
Yeah.
Of all the people that had it, my dad had it. Did not give it to either of my brothers. My mom doesn't have it. So it's just dad and me, and he died from this.
Oh,
which is what made me at 42. Which is what made me
42.
Yeah, he's a baby. So I'm like, hey.
You got to take it seriously.
Hey. And then it happens to me
and
twice.
I can see you arguing with the doctors.
Twice. Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. Where you're
crazy.
like, no, really, you need to take this serious.
So now I'm on blood thinners.
Good.
And it's funny because this little ear right here I don't know what was on it. And I just scratched it. And for an hour and a half, it just leaks.
You gushed.
You just gut.
You
I mean,
gushed.
and that's what I have to worry about getting into a car accident or anything like that. Because if this thing, but bed
That's
rest. So my
wild.
daughter, if she does have it, they don't recommend birth control because that is already prone to women clotting.
Yeah.
And also if she's pregnancy, bed rest, or accident or surgery, they need to know because if not, you're just a ticking time bomb laying there and you don't even know it.
God.
Yeah. So I do worry about it, but I know if I'm able to speak for myself, I'll be able to tell them.
And now you've learned the language to say, and you've got the history.
But here's the thing. I knew it before. I'm
Yeah.
just going to yell louder next time.
you
Like,
have
listen,
to.
I've clotted twice now.
No, life or death.
Fucking help me here.
Fucking help me out. It's a matter of life or death.
Yeah, I joke,
And
but I
so-
say don't go to the hospital.
No.
If you can help it, stay out of the hospital. I
For
know
real.
it sounds...
No, I've had doctors say if you can help it, stay out of the hospital. Now, I will say, I don't know if you can see my scar, but I'm very excited.
Oh, I do see a
Just
little.
6 weeks ago, I had Dr. Anka Barbu, an amazing surgeon. She put in an implant in my left vocal cord so I can now speak like I used to, which is just a
How long
miracle.
ago?
6 weeks ago.
Up till 6 weeks, you were still high-pitched speaking?
I was
It
still
never
doing
changed?
my act, and I would say to the audience, I hope you guys get used to this, but I couldn't do
way.
impressions anymore. I couldn't do, certain sounds. And, when you start a show, you want to go out there, hello, Los Angeles. So to lose that ability, in my opinion, attributed to the PTSD a lot. Because it's like I'm asking the audience to come along and laugh at me because I don't want them to feel sorry for me and think I'm sick. So I do 2 hours, balls out. I now wear a headset mic and it makes it just as much better amplification anyway. But I have only done 3 shows since my implant surgery. And I'm
And you're
telling
doing
you.
2 hours?
Doing 2 hours.
And how's it hold up and how's it feel at the
Perfectly.
end?
It
Yeah.
feels just like before the surgery. And
I have an interesting question.
go ahead.
You sounded different for how many years?
3.5 years.
Do you, in your head,
Yeah.
do you sound like you think you used to sound?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
So the old
There's
Kathy
still a
voice in
couple
your head.
sounds I can't make.
Yeah.
And I do voice therapy. And I got to give credit to the person who really helped me. Are you ready? Do you know who the singer is? Sia.
Yeah, of course.
Titanium
Mhm.
Chandelier. She's got a big hit now called Immortal Queen. She just kept saying, there's something wrong about this, mate. She's Australian. There's something wrong. And so she got me to her voice therapist and the surgeon, Dr. Barbu. And if it wasn't for
Whoa,
Sia,
she helped you all.
she just kept digging and digging and saying,
How about that?
no, there's got to be a way. And the surgeon who, in my humble opinion, caused it just kept saying, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And Sia would not let up. And then it led to the surgery. I call it my boob job. So I have an implant, not on my chest,
Yeah.
but I basically have a boob in my left vocal cord. And I'm so grateful. And just, when you've gone through something like that, every show is a gift. And that's another reason you and I both love Joan, is Joan knew every show is a gift. And one time I was bitching to Rickles about how hard doubles are. You almost... Did I say this in the first quarter of the show or did I say this in
Yeah.
the last show? And Rickles said, quit complaining because someday they won't want doubles anymore. And he was right. And another thing I got to say to your listeners, save your money. Don't go crazy with the cars and the Rolexes, because listen to Mrs. Kathy, a rainy day came. And my rainy day was 6.5 years of just bleeding money and not making a penny. But thank God, years and years of touring. You know what it's like, touring your butt off. I've been to cities I can't even pronounce. I've been to every town you can think of. I've played every college, all this stuff. But be wise with your money, because truly, you never know. I lost my health insurance, of course, all that stuff. So it's okay to just stockpile money. You don't have to show off. We get it. Just be smart with your money and keep as much as you can.
Yeah, when the apocalypse comes, you want to be that guy.
You want to be okay.
Like, this motherfucker over here eating an apple.
I have no debt.
Save my money and my food.
I have no debt. My house. I paid cash for my house.
Yep.
I don't want any debt. I have no credit card debt. My parents, God love them, they love the drink, but they always instilled that in me, like, save your money, be good with it. It's show business.
That's it.
And the amount of money when Joan Rivers passed away, and when I heard she had $140 million, I said, you go.
Is that what it was? When
$140
Good for her.
And live the high life. I mean, the apartment in New
York
York was
New York
3
was
floors.
Sick. Yeah, that was sick.
Are you kidding me? On Fifth Avenue? So those are my role models. I don't care how inappropriate they are. And look, we all said stuff back in the day we wouldn't say now. I'm not covering for the naughty. I said, I'm like afraid to watch my old specials. God only knows.
I like that you're whispering.
I am whispering because it's only, God only knows the shit I said in the 90s. And don't get me started on the 2000s.
Yeah.
It was go time.
It was go time.
It was like
That's
everything was on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. So 21 specials later, I'm somehow still here. I'm somehow back at Carnegie. And nobody has loved Carnegie Hall more than me. I swear to God.
When they booked me again, Guinness, that's fucking awesome.
21 specials.
That's
I wrote every word. I produced them all. I own them. I bought back my entire library.
You did? Hell yeah.
I own all 6 seasons of Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D List. I own every one of my specials. And here's the kicker. For nothing. I can't give them away. I thought I was going to sell them for millions of dollars to like some streamer. They're just sitting in my wine room at my house. They're literally because I don't drink. So I took my wine room and my library is in there. So if there's a fire, the only thing I'm going to grab is the dogs in my library and fill up the car and go.
Whoa.
But here's my theory. I think when I croak, somebody's going to buy them. So it may take a near-death experience. I may need to do a little clotting to make the sale. And I know that sounds cold, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Business.
Show business.
Okay, so after lung surgery first.
Yes.
Then we come to this next, right?
Then we do the implant.
What's the recovery for something like this? Like,
what was crazy about,
even if you could, were you working then?
No, yes, I had just done 40 cities with this voice. And then I had a 6-week downtime. So I was no talking at all for 2 weeks, which was a nightmare.
Is that the longest since you've been speaking that you didn't speak?
Yes. And you walk around with a dry erase board around your neck and you're trying to text people stuff. I mean, it was, and I'm super dyslexic, so I'm saying horrible, inappropriate things to people by mistake because I'm texting and I just hit send. Like, I never think like, oh, Kathy, maybe you should see what you've sent. And so it's just so wrong that I said, I have to turn it into a show. I have to turn the whole thing into a show. So I did a show about the whole Trump thing that I made into a documentary concert movie called Kathy Griffin, A Hell of a Story. Once again, I paid for it myself, $1 million. Troy Miller, a great director. Best reviews I've gotten in my entire career. Not one person would distribute it. But you can see it for free on Amazon, so enjoy it on me.
What do you mean?
I mean, you can watch.
Not one distributor?
Not anybody. Not Netflix, not Hulu.
So Amazon
nobody.
just took it?
Well, you can put anything on Amazon because it's pay. So they just take the $4.99.
Got it.
And then after a while, it's so unpopular. They just put it on there for free. But enjoy it. And so now in my new show, I don't mention Trump at all. It's not political. I do a lot of PTSD stuff. I still got a lot of the fun classic celebrity run-in stories like the Kanye and the slow clap and the Rolls Royce golf cart. I'm still giving the old razzle dazzle. I'm still giving celebrity shit. I still have celebrities who aren't speaking to me. I'm used to it. But you know, I
Do you
feel
ever
like,
see him out there in the wild?
oh, absolutely.
And how's that go?
It can go either way. I was in a 10-year beef with, you know, that singer Debbie Lovato.
Yes.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Debbie,
I heard what you said.
Okay, guess what Debbie doesn't like?
Is that her real name?
No, her name is Demi.
Yeah, I know it's
but
Demi
I'm
Lovato.
dyslexic. And so I put Debbie.
They, them, I believe. I don't know.
No, she's back to being a chick.
Okay.
I'm trying. Look,
I can't
you know,
keep up
I
with
got to
it.
be up on this.
I
This
know
is
you
my
do,
living.
but I just can't keep up
Well,
with it anymore.
that's why I was invented.
So she was they, them, and
Now
she's back to she. Okay.
And I
But
just.
you called her Debbie Lovato?
Somebody, you know, I get in trouble with the late night tweeting. I admit it. I get in trouble. And somebody tweeted, who's the biggest asshole in Hollywood? And I go, Debbie Lovato's kind of an asshole. And then she sent her fan army on me.
Oh, no.
And honey, they are like Cowboys fans. I mean, they are hardcore. They also wanted to cut my cunt out. They wanted to shoot me in the cunt.
Yeah, those ladies.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, when you piss off Debbie's fans, you pay the price. And so finally, I ran into her about a month ago, and we were as close as you are and I are. And I finally just looked at her and I go, Debbie. Yeah, I swear to God. I go, Debbie, can we please make up? And finally, she giggled and said, okay, and we hugged.
That's nice. All right, good.
And can I tell you, I'm such a sucker that actually like makes my day beyond. Like, as much as I love to give these celebs shit, I don't want anybody actually crying.
Yeah,
I'm just giving them shit. Look, this
up
girl
all night
is
with
one of
that,
the
yeah.
richest, most successful, most talented singers out there. And so finally she's decided, okay, I guess it's not a really big deal if D-list Kathy Griffin calls me Debbie. And so, you know, they don't always take it well. There's some that are still
Not
pissed.
everyone's a comedian, you know.
Not everyone enjoys a little
get called
teasing.
Rick Sickler all the time. All the time.
Big bad one. Oh,
Right. But I'm saying I lean into it. Like when I went out with Tom Segura and I was featuring for him and they had us up on it was at Notre Dame, had on the marquee and it said featuring Rick Sickler. And I just thought they were doing it to be dicks.
Just
and I was
to
like,
mess
you
with
guys
you.
did that shit,
Yeah.
which I'm cool with. You know, I'm like, that's hilarious.
But you're coming back.
and
You're
then
going to
his-
make them
yeah.
pay. You're
But
going to
then
make
his
them pay.
manager's like, nah. I'm like, nah, they really fucked that up. He's like, they did. I'm calling them now. I go, don't. We're here one night.
Don't change
Don't
a
fucking
letter.
change it. And I
Not
took
a
picures
letter.
of it and put it out
You need
there.
verification.
Yeah,
You need the receipts. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that is beyond fair game.
Yes.
Beyond. And I do love fair game, which I have a very wide breadth of what I feel fair game is.
All right. So back to your health here. We get through lung cancer.
Get through lung cancer, but then we can't talk.
But hold on. Do you have to do radiation or chemo or any of that for the lung cancer?
The surgeon just made it sound like, you know.
We got it.
We got it. And, you know, he was one of these guys. You know, I've had patients that are going to dance class 3 weeks after this. Honey, I had a tube in my back for a week in the hospital. Like, there's no dance classes for me. That was a gnarly surgery. It took me a long time to, like, be able to go on my first walk and all that other stuff. So it's been a lot of...
So you get physically better.
How
many months does it take for you really to start being like, all right, I feel like myself?
Well, because of the voice, 3.5 years.
Years, yeah.
You know, it was just, look, I've always had a gravelly, weird voice, but to then be up here, the only talk show that would book me was Jimmy Kimmel, because everybody was like, well, what do we do with this comedian who has to explain half of her 7-minute segment why she talks like this? And, you know, I'm so grateful to anybody that like gave me that chance. And like I said, I'm dying to do a special again. Somebody take a chance on me. I promise I know how to produce it. I know how to edit it. You can have input. We'll cut it down if you don't like it. I'm easy to work with. We'll put it on. We'll make people laugh. And yet I'm still auditioning. I'm still happily on the D list.
Tell me about your mom passing.
During COVID.
It was?
During COVID. So no memorial, no
I hate
nothing.
these stories. Was it sudden or?
No. What was really sad is my mom had a slow, horrible dementia. And this is going to sound awful. So I know as my mom would say, I'm going to hell in a handbasket. By the way, what's a handbasket?
There's a little guy like this, little Red Riding Hood, I feel like. Little hand picnic basket.
What the hell? What does that mean? I'm going to hell in a handbag. Why? Does it move? Is it like an airplane? Does it move? Is it fuel powered?
In my mind, it's little Red Riding Hood skipping
I'm in it.
shit. Yeah,
I'm in it. Going right to hell.
You're going right to hell.
Right to hell.
It's a cute way to go to hell.
I might see you there. You're not so clean. You're not so clean. You
100%.
might be there for a couple days. And so after that, it was just the road back and trying to get back, and to not be able to memorialize my mom in the way she deserved is something that still lives with me.
Were you able to, was she out of state?
Yeah, she was out of state.
And was she in a hospital?
She was in.
So you couldn't go see her or anything?
I could see her, but the dementia was so bad. She didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And she really wasn't Maggie. And let me tell you, dementia, it's invasion of the body snatchers. I feel like that disease took my mother's soul and just threw it in the fireplace, because my mom was so naturally quick and smart and funny. And my dad was like us. He was like comedian funny, where if you gave him an assignment to be funny, he would do it. Like my dad would do stuff like, one of my uncles spent like a half a year redoing his rec room. Remember rec rooms?
Yeah.
Where there'd be like a pool table, club basement, maybe a bar. And my dad, well, I'll never forget this. My dad walks me in. He's holding my hand. I'm probably 7 years old. And we're going to see the new rec room. Yeah. And my dad looks around and says to my uncle, "What a shit box." And I thought that was the funniest thing. I thought my dad was the coolest, funniest. So my dad was like comedian funny, but my mom didn't know why she was funny. She would just say stuff that she thought was real, that was insane, and it was hilarious. She lived for her box of wine. I want my Franzia, Kathleen.
That White Zin? What was she?
White Zin. No, Chuba Chuck. I am not paying a penny more than a goddamn $2, which is highway robbery. And my God love my parents. My dad lived to 90. My mom to 99.
Damn.
Drinking like fish.
Yeah, you were saying
and
that.
And eating Swanson's TV dinners and Cheese Whiz on Ritz. They were like someone should study their bodies.
This is what I'm saying about cancer. I believe it exists in us, and just it's probably in all of us, and sooner or later, if you live old enough, it pops up and takes you out.
But keep an eye on
some people, younger, older.
I don't know how they did
and alcohol, and they lived in their 90s.
Yes. And then my parents became kind of gay icons, because I got them a condo in West Hollywood, which is a very gay area of Los Angeles. And they would go to happy hour in gay bars, not knowing they were gay bars. But my mom would say, "Honey, there's this place called Rage." And let me tell you, the hors d'oeuvres are much better than any other part of town. And the hors d'oeuvres are free, Kathleen. So I sit there with my glass of wine and I nurse it, because I'm not going to be ordering at these prices, 5 and 6. By the way, of course, she had 5 and 6 glasses. But she did later on say, we go to the gay bars because, let's face it, Kathleen, the gays do make better hors d'oeuvres. Is that true or not?
Listen, I think the gays do everything better, to be honest.
Like, so that...
When I go to Palm Springs, I'm like, could the gays be in charge of Los Angeles and clean the fucking thing up and make it look great? Clean it up
and flip the houses and get the restaurants going and clean the streets up.
100%.
Put them in charge.
100%.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that was one of my great joys, was to put my parents on my reality show, because they were so funny that Bravo mandated like more scenes with my parents.
Wow, that was one of their notes.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have more.
Yeah,
more Maggie.
Even then, they were like in their 70s, more John and Maggie. And to this day, I show a little opening video before my show, and I put a little of my mom in there, and people clap, and it really touches my heart that they remember her drunken loveliness.
Were they still together?
Oh yeah, they were like tied at the hip. They were one of those old-fashioned couples. And, always both of them worked full-time. I was a latchkey kid. So I would let myself in after school, watch the after-school special, Boy in the Plastic Bubble, maybe make a Jiffy cake. Remember Jiffy Cakes?
I do remember
little
Jiffy
boxes
Cakes,
where you could make like an individual cake.
Yeah.
And I would try to make one before my mom came home from her job. And then I would put the empty boxes in the garbage cans down the alley and blame the neighbors.
I just thought you were getting rid of them.
No, and I'd say, oh my gosh, the Schumachers came over and brought a cake. And my mom was too drunk to not believe me. So she was tipping it. She would say that when she would have her glass of wine, she'd go, I'm going to tip it, Kathleen. So I would sell T-shirts at my concerts that say tip it.
Yeah.
And yes, so they went on the journey with me.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one remaining. I was the youngest of 5. Now I'm what's called an accident baby.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I guess you're a little oops. Your parents got together, a little oops.
My parents were Catholic.
Yeah.
And they did something called the rhythm method, which is where my father was supposed to pull out because he was 45.
This is what Gloria
and my mother was 40.
warned us about. The rhythm gets you.
I know Glow and the mom, and I knew Gloria's mom, and she was also an accident. And my,
is that right?
Oh, every Christmas, my parents would be like, what are we getting the accident, baby? Like right to my, I just want you to know, they told the world I was an accident.
Okay.
And when your father found out I was preggers again.
How old were they this time? This is your
Mom was 40, dad was 45.
Okay,
and so they would get drunk and brag about how while my mom was delivering me, she's like, God damn it. I thought I was done, for Christ's sake. Somebody get me a bottle of wine. I'm having a goddamn baby. Jesus.
I'm having a baby.
I'm having a goddamn baby. Get me some wine. And, no nannies, none of that business, lower middle class accident. We all knew the accident babies in our school. And we accidents kind of hung out together.
Yeah.
And I think that's how my audience kind of is gays and outsiders and women who feel different, or people who are, like I said, I have a lot of combat veterans because I went overseas and performed, and they can't be shocked. And gay audiences can't be shocked. And that's what you want as a comic. You want to be able to get out there and, at least for the live shows, just say the most wrong, awful things possible to get that gasp laugh.
It's the
not just a giggle. It's that, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. I feel guilty for laughing.
It's the last place we're supposed to be allowed to do this.
I embrace the shame.
If you want us to be politically correct in schools and churches and government buildings and all these things,
that's fine.
Okay.
Fine. That's
but where
the deal.
are we allowed
That's
to go
right.
cut loose and say wrong, foul, funny, off shit? Where are we allowed to do that?
Especially when you're telling your own story.
That's right.
So when I'm describing what it's like to be an accident baby, don't you dare come at me and say, I'm offended by that term. And excuse me. My parents told me I was an accident my entire life. That shit's funny. Don't be telling me.
Yeah.
I'm a living accident.
My friend used to be, they would call him an oops baby. And they just did the same thing, and they were older and kept them.
But today you could never do that. Like today, everybody's kids are gifted.
Yeah.
All my friends think their kids are gifted. Ryan, what can I tell them? They're not.
They're not gifted.
They're not gifted.
They're
they
not.
Just shit and eat, and that's their gift.
They're messy meat sacks.
That's
all we
it.
are.
Not a gift, but they all think they're gifted.
Tell me about your dad. How'd he pass?
Oh, my dad passed from myocardia.
You say 93?
Yeah, 90, and mom was 99. And I will say my dad's passing was luckily swifter. And I say that, like I said, I know I'm going to hell for even saying that, but watching my mom's demise, I'll never get over it. So
I sit
at
and
least
listen to
my
people
dad
who were
went
caretakers,
fairly.
and they talk about
They
it.
are saints. Those people
And it's
are
brutal because this
saints.
person who loves you and is your mother who gave you,
She's
and then all of a
saying
sudden is
stuff
not
that
going to
isn't
remember
her,
you. Yeah.
and she doesn't remember me, and yet, of course, she remembers something from 70 freaking years ago, like it was yesterday. But yeah, it was gnarly, and my mom still kept on going after my dad, but she never got over him. She never wanted to see another guy. She never wanted to even joke about it.
Never just not
even a wine
travel
date,
companion.
like a
wine
travel
date,
companion. Nothing. Exactly. No.
Okay, so First of all, look, I really am glad you came on here. I was surprised you said yes.
Of
Pleasantly
course.
surprised. I'm all about comedians.
And you're a comedian's comedian.
I'm a comedian,
and that's
so
what I love about
wanted
you.
to have you
Yeah.
because you're a fucking comic, and you
And
go
you write
back.
your own shit,
You go
and you do your
back.
own shit, and
Don
I go back.
Rickles, like
Come on.
you're a hand to the legends.
I mean, I got to present at the Emmys one time with Rickles, and like in rehearsal, to watch him give Betty White shit, and to watch her fling it back at him,
Yes.
while Mary Tyler
Yes.
Moore was clutching her pearls,
Yes.
like moments like
I mean,
that.
man, oh man.
Man, oh man, heaven.
I still tell everybody the story with the Rickles and Sinatra, the dinner story he made him tell on the Tonight Show. It's so fucking
It
funny.
is so good, and he's got
Frank,
so many of them.
Just the shit on Frank Sinatra.
Shit,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's
that
like, "You
is
son of a
balls.
bitch."
That is balls.
Do you know
So-
the story how they met? Do you
No.
know that story?
No, tell me.
I went down this Don Rickles rabbit hole just a few weeks ago
Yeah.
because then you forget he's Mr. Potato Head,
Right.
was R.I.P. But
He's done a lot of films.
so much.
Casino?
And
And the shit he would give De Niro.
Yes,
The
I was reading
clips of
about
De Niro
that. Yeah.
trying not to laugh
Yes.
when Rickles is giving him shit.
But he said their moms, Frank Sinatra, Don Rickles' mom, hit up Frank Sinatra's mom and said, your son, I really think would love my son. He's doing this show in like Tampa or whatever.
Oh, the mom went to every show.
And then
Rickles' mom went
yeah.
to every show.
And then Rickles is up. He said there was barely anybody in there. And he said Frank Sinatra walked in with his henchman. And he said, I was scared to fucking death. And he said he just looked right at him and figured, fuck it. And he said, come on in, Frank. Make yourself at home. Punch someone. He said,
God.
he said he was scared to death
Of
inside. He
course.
looked and he said Frank Sinatra was laughing so fucking hard. He's like, thank God I'm not getting killed.
And we know that
And
moment.
that was it.
We know that moment where you bust somebody's balls, and maybe it's a new
And he's
person.
the only one that could bust Frank Sinatra's
The only
balls.
one, and Sinatra loved it.
Loved it.
And I love anyone that loved them.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, last question for you.
Yes.
After everything we've discussed here, advice you would give to 16-year-old Kathy Griffin?
Honestly, it really is valuable to not give a shit. And I don't mean that like to be mean or be inconsiderate, but when I think about the stuff I gave a shit about, it just didn't serve me. And so this is a celebrity dropping story, so I know it's annoying, but I got to spend some time recently with the great Chaka Khan.
Oh.
And I never thought I would even meet her, but she's doing an album with Sia, and I was at Sia's house, and Chaka was in the guest room, and I know that's even crazy. And Sia was doing something, and she said, will you go keep Chaka company? And I'm like, yes. And we were just talking, and I was bitching about my divorce, and she said, I haven't been with a guy in 25 years, and I'm busy with my grandkids. And
Chaka Khan?
Chaka Khan, who is gorgeous beyond and 70 and sexy, like seriously. But she said, I know you say you don't give a shit, but I can tell you kind of give too much of a shit. And she said, the day you really stop giving a shit is when you're going to be truly free. So that's what I would say to 16-year-old. When it comes to things harmless, jokes, teasing somebody, ribbing somebody that you love, giving somebody the business, as we used to say, don't give a shit. Just go for it. Because every so often you're going to get that Sinatra. You're going to get that person that you didn't think would laugh, and they burst out laughing. And then it's all worth it.
That's great. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure.
One more time, promote the tour, all that,
Kathy
please.
Griffin, My Life on the PTSD List tour. Go to kathygriffin.com. Go to my Instagram. Go to my TikTok. I'm even still on Twitter. I'm on Threads. The tour schedule is there. Come see me and come with an open mind.
Great. Go see her. Go see her for sure. As always, Ryan Sickler on all your social media, ryansickler.com. Come see me on tour as well. If I'm in your town when you're around, tickets are up on my website at ryansickler.com. We'll talk to you all next week.